saints and drugstore liars. Now I walk on the paths of glory, one foot in ice and one in fire.
Music's been a part of my life since day one. I grew up singing all sorts of songs and listening to all sorts of songwriters. The first concert I ever saw was John Denver in the 4th grade. From that point forward, I admit, I nurtured a little dream of singing. I got a violin when I was 9 and a turntable soon thereafter. And between classical studies, I was like most kids, singing into a hairbrush and in the shower for hours on end. Until in college, I finally got the invitation to join a band. The band was called Juicy. Indeed, I was living the dream.
Gone, gone, gone in a day.
When I met Dave Carter in 1996, everything shifted into high gear for me artistically. He wrote songs that stood alone as poetry, sung with compassion and a hint of a Texas twang. Pretty much everything I loved about music and language came together in one brilliant package and resulted in a bunch of songwriting awards for him, 3 successful folk recordings for the 2 of us, and a bus tour with Joan Baez the spring of 2002.
I would find someone much easier to need.
Just a couple months after that tour ended, Dave died of a heart attack in our hotel room. He was 49 years old.
Is a number of my love.
I promised Dave's family and our fans that I'd continue singing the songs, but I'd never played solo before, so there was a bit of a learning curve for me. My pal Donnie Wright kept me laughing on the road that first difficult year, and Jim Henry made sure we kept the big picture in mind. He urged me to write, and finally in 2004 I came up with a song called The Verdant Mile with Jim Henry's help. I learned though that my heart wasn't really in the craft of songwriting at the time. I really felt it was more important for me to promote Dave's legacy, and so for the next several years, that's exactly what I did.
This verdant mile of memory with you, gentle arms of Eden and the mountain get me through.
In 2007, I got invited to be part of this multicultural show called Songs of the Spirit that toured throughout New York State. They invited me to come solo, and that was a rare thing at the time. But it turned out I sort of liked having the stage to myself. And next thing you know, I'm a bona fide solo act heading off to Japan on a 2-week tour. And what a transformative experience that was.
This verdant mile.
In the last year especially, I've been longing in the margins of my journals for an excuse to tend to my own creative pursuits. So the invitation to participate here came at the right time. For that, and for all the other women who said yes to this adventure, I'm so grateful. My intention is not to write 52 perfect songs, but to be present each week for the practice. What more can any of us do? Show up, tell the truth, have fun, and we'll see what comes. Thanks so much for being along for the ride. We'll see you in January.
I miss you like I love the sound of blackbirds in the trees.